Now we all know SCR is light years away from perfection, always has been, from glitches and bugs to flawed updates, right up to some bits of the in-game network making absolutely no sense at all, which is what we'll be discussing in this here video, where we attempt to theorize ways to fix these bizarreries into a near-perfect network for Stepford, one that is both my ideal, which may vary from yours, as well as more logical, so screw your thoughts, I'm right and you're wrong. Just kidding, by the way. Welcome aboard, sit back, relax, and enjoy the trip. Stepford City will be undergoing a major shake-up, especially on Metro, one of the most illogically built routes yet, the core section. Unlike, say, the Berlin Stadtbahn, this line has the same loading gauge, platform height, and electrification as the main line above it. Not to mention it follows the exact same route, albeit with 2 more stations and a lower speed limit. All the commuters in Stepford might as well be solving the trolley problem every day of their lives at this point. I'd say the core section should look more like the Central and Elizabeth line when compared with each other. A bit of walking distance between the stations. Or maybe not. What will definitely be required is a new line to balance Metro's dependence on mainline routes. Also, there are several areas that remain unconnected, which would make this idea seem better than I originally thought. However, it'll need to branch off after either High Street or Stepford East. I'd imagine this take on the line is based partly on the U4 in Vienna. No, not that U4, this U4. And consisting of only 2 stations of its own, University and Southgood. However, as we reach Stepford Vic, we encounter this common moment that we all address as a problem. Separate low-level platforms would be inconvenient and the loop would not be connected to the line above. They could replace the middle tracks, but still... So I'd say, invert the idea. Bulldoze the blocky, old entrance and make a new one with a subway to elevated transition through the middle. Now there's Vicky for you. As for the line to Willowfield, the line would kinda be left alone, however we'll need to convert Hemden Park and Potsdamer Platz to bypass stations to ease the flow of traffic. I'd choose the sidey-side layout, so with the bypass tracks on one side and the platforms on the other, so as not to alter the station building's original designs. And finally we make it to the Whitefield line. On this idealized network, the line would be entirely taken over by Metro, and thus re-electrified. I originally proposed it to run on third rail, following Matty's original plans, though as the devs phased out third rails in favor of an all-AC network, the latter shall return anyway. In my opinion, this area should be called Morgan's Turn without the W because, we're in Britain, not in America. As for the line of the same name, it would also be left alone. It's well organized in my opinion, with Metro on the slow tracks, separated from the fast tracks by a short stubby little brick wall at most of the line's route. The closest imperfection we have to this line would be the X-Tram link line. Like the core section, it also follows an existing route, albeit via an extra stub. Also, it's on the road directly adjacent to the old Waterline branch, now elevated for some reason. The main problem here is how they reshaped Whitney Green and the branch line into something that you wouldn't really come to the mind if you hear the name Whitney Green, especially as a normie or a player who's been active before version 2.3. Maybe the latter is just my case. I normally imagine the old branch. Speaking of the old branch, it shouldn't have been reshuffled in the first place. Also, reverting to the tramway, I could call this the most imperfect of all lines. I've come up with several solutions to perfect the line, except most of them would cause a significant trainload of backlash in the fanbase. A. The eastern half of tram link would not be restored, RIP Robinson Way, and the tram train would continue as an extension of the Waterline branch to Verily via the streets. B. Same as A, but the trams are Waterline instead of Metro. C. The tram link would replace the original line, much to the disappointment of most Waterline fans, hence being the most scandalous. D. This is definitely the most optimistic choice. Keep it as it is and give it the core section / Stepford loop-like treatment from before. New lines leading to new locations, new horizons, whatever you call it. So, the last option for sure. The line linking Morganstown with Benton and the rest of Waterline is not part of this chapter as I group it along with the Benton line, which is surprisingly alright in my opinion. but with this one tiny little obvious, or maybe not very obvious, hiccup. Metro would not go beyond Benton. It is Waterline's job to serve the rest of the area, and it makes zero sense to have a line to Morgantown and the line to Morgantown via Benton and Port Benton. That absolutely proves the point of the famous Morgantown shuttle to the pickle, pepper, peanut, pepper, pig. Speaking of lines running way out of the home area, one of my local branch lines used to be part of Budapest's commuter network, or HEV as it's called. The line was absorbed into the mainline network, and it currently lies in terrible conditions. Yeah. Nowadays, the locals in Ketchikamit use it as their own metro, even though the headways can be quite long and the dwell time's kinda short given they're all request stops. The line is planned to undergo a bit of improvement, including a new station to serve the thermal baths and... Hang on, what are we even doing in Hungary? All I wanted to say is that I just think it makes no sense to have Metro to go to Benton because, you know, Benton already has its own commuter line system, whatever. I hope this sums it all up for you. I think we can just skip the water line and bit from here. It's mainly just the airport that needs fixing. Now, a lot of people complain about Waterline's extension to Terminal 2, though I think connects the spoilsport here. There's no point in having an interchange with Connect at Terminal 2, given we've already got an interchange with Connect at Airport Central. Waterline does not serve Airport Central, so it has to bond with the airport at Terminal 2 instead. Airport Parkway along with Airport West don't really count as gateways to the skies. They are in the area, but they're a bit too far from the airport to be direct interchanges. By the way, the Airlink shuttle serves as a direct guaranteed connection from the railway terminals to the airport terminals, something normal airports would typically achieve with an automated people mover or a bus. As for one of the most unique stations in the area and on the network overall, Terminal 1, please give it an exit to the outside world. I literally feel trapped trying to leave the station as a passenger. To be honest, the Hampton Hargett revamp from version 2.3 is quite reminiscent of the 2026 redesigns for Harold the helicopter, as if the devs decided to, chatify the station and feed it supply steroids as well as pamper it with express and airlink services, instead of actually renovating and fixing the station. As we skip a few stops and head into Leighton, I'd like to address the fact that I find and always found it unfair to have airlink terminate at Stepford Road instead of Leighton City. That would be like having Gatwick Express to East Croydon but not Waterloo. Now we roll our way out of Leighton onto the southern or southwestern part of the main line, home to such quaint little areas as the Raleigh Bay branch, for some reason served by Express. Now unlike the Newry area where Express gives you these, cross-country vibes as some of y'all like to say, Raleigh Bay isn't really the sort of line you typically imagine a sleek HST or a Zoomer to travel on. Not only is it a short hop from Edgemead, but the line is also meant to be one of those former victims of the beaching cuts with low speed limits and old stations and infrastructure like semaphore signals. Finally, we return to the main line where we pass a few funny names like Mill Castle, ironically lacking a mill or a castle, and Starry Lock en route to the lake by the sea, known by some to have a whole lot of pointless abandoned platforms. We don't really need those side platforms or that platform zero. The King's Cross-esque glass-roofed hall is fairly enough, and it's also what you typically imagine when you think of Lynn by the sea, right? I mean, sure, Stepford Central shows a whole bunch of unused tracks, but hey, it is the central station. There are surely way more services serving Stepford Central than there are to Lynn, so they might come in handy after all. Anyways, here's this grand Stepford fix-up already mapped out for you. I also hope you've enjoyed this journey with me today. If so, like and express your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, subscribe and join the Discord server, link in description. I'd like to thank you all very much for your attention, and I hope to see you again sometime soon. All change.